In today's video, guys, there's a lot of topics. We're going to start with Streetfighter. What is that?
Now.
Barnfind? What's that about? In England, green slip or logbook, none of. Project bike or easy fix. HT coil, static coil, coil pack.
Part service, full service. Oh, hang on, what am I doing here?
Variator system, rollers, not using oil in it. Piston, new head, running in. What's that about? Oils, 4T, 2T. What's the difference? And lastly, WD-40, friend. But carb cleaner. Do they mix? Good tip though, guys. When you finish your tools, put them back. You must see my videos where I've always looking for a damn screwdriver or looking for them. If you've done a job, put them back. Anyway, you may remember I recently did a competition with my t-shirt that I'm not wearing because it's in the wash. And here's one of my winners, Dervman.
Hi guys, I won. Can't believe it.
Thanks, Dervman. Even like they're laughing afterwards. Very professional. Right, guys. As I said, 10 things to talk about today. And they're generally questions I get often asked, and a couple I don't, which is Street Fighter. Not Speed Fight, but a Street Fighter. In my own personal opinion, and I'm sure I'll get someone that says not, I found that they're bikes that have generally been down the road. Okay? So if someone's had an accident in them, if it's an insurance job or not, they've realised that the fairings now are scratched up. They realise that the fairings are a lot of money, so take the fairings off. Then they stick this stupid round or twin little dominator lights on them, and occasionally they might do a better job of raising the bars up. Then they realise that you've got to extend the brake cables and the accelerator cables, and they often don't do that. I don't love them, to be honest with you. I think some of the bikes with fairings look great as they are, and if you want a naked bike, buy a naked bike. But that's that one. Barnfind. Funny bit there, wasn't it? Barnfinds, again, I don't like the idea of barnfinds. They're not really barnfinds unless they've been in the garage somewhere for 20 years known by some old bloke. A ped that's 3 years old, barnfind, generally you'll find it is stolen, okay? And where it's gone through many different hands, it's still a stolen bike. It won't come with a key, it won't come with a logbook. If you're going to get one, make sure it has the logbook and the key to it, and a true story, okay? Not just, oh, it's been sitting there, I don't know what it's about. Right, guys, logbook. I did a quick one on that one, and it goes onto the Barnfind. No logbook. If you're going to buy a bike with no logbook, realise you've got 5 weeks, in UK, 5 weeks to wait before you can enter the bike. Firstly, that gives 5 weeks to find it stolen. You get a knock at the door and let you know it's stolen because you've got to apply for it. It's £25 to apply. You have to have a postal order or cheque, so it comes to 30 quid now, postal orders. You wait for 5 weeks and eventually you may or may not get the logbook through. It's always a bit of tentative time, so don't do anything to the bike if you're going to buy a bike with no logbook. If it's got a green slip, it's a little bit better. A green slip, a couple of weeks. You've got to send it away, you can't do it online. This new Keep of It Now in England, you can do online, you get it back in 3 days. Excellent. So it's always a worry. If you're going to buy a bike with no logbook, make sure you've got something to say it's definitely that person, it's not stolen, so you've got a key. No logbook, no key, looks dodgy, just walk away, guys. It's not worth you now buying a bike for whatever money on Gumtree or something and turned out it's stolen. It's your loss, isn't it? Right, project bike, an easy fix. If you've watched my videos, guys, hopefully you have, you know that I've said here before, it was running last night, mate, that bike I had outside that Vespa. It was never running last night, and you've got to weigh up the odds of looking at a bike to say whether it's a simple piston or clean carburetor, which you always hope and may be told to turning out in these new tyres, new brakes, levers, cables, piston head, and all of a sudden your project bike, easy fix, can cost a lot more than you thought it might have. Right, coils. Always get asked about this one as well. A coil. You've got the HT coil, I call it HT coil. That generally goes from a spark plug to the electrics. But you have a stator coil, which is the main power plant of your bike. That's on the right hand side next to exhaust normally, or underneath it's water cooled under there. The inside does electric for the bike, the outside does the timing, then goes on to the CDI. Different video, watch that one. And the coil pack. You don't get it on small bikes, you get it on bigger bikes, 600s and above or 250s and so on, and they basically are the whole thing in one. They do go a lot more in cars nowadays, and you have a diagnostics port you can put in. Motorbike, you're not that lucky, unfortunately. Servicing, as I got my camera woman to say, instrument or part service, full service. What's the difference? Well, an instrument service, it's oil. Literally just change the oil, £100 at a garage, and away you go. That's why I do these videos, guys. You can easily do it yourself. This is on 4T bikes only, though. Full service generally is the plug, air filter, oil filter, and depending on what it's a car, even, you know, it's pollen filter, diesel, it's a diesel cartridge and so on, which are like these things here, a bit smelly. Worth doing a diesel though, different subject. Right, where are we now? On the variator system. I've done a lot of videos on the variator, a little washer, chuck it away, mainly speed fights. Generally poor pulling away, not great maximum speed. The engine seems it wants to go, it doesn't. That's the rollers that showed you a picture of. They go square, and rollers that go square don't roll. It makes sense, doesn't it? And again, wipe them with a clean rag. That's just wiping out the bits there. No WD-40, no oils, they run dry. Many times you get asked about that, WD-ing and so on. I do love WD-40, that's at the end. But make sure it's clean and dry and put back. The belt is tight, not too taut, or you're not going to get the gearing out of it. Watch the video and I show the variator and the clutch, and as you rev up, they get bigger and smaller. That's the gear change you feel. Right, where are we? Piston. I've got a lot of pistons in here, guys. You know, these ones that are a little bit knackered. That is an explosion, I'll tell you. And these ones here. Now that is due to 4T, 2T, that sort of one. I'll go there next. Running dry, running too hot, that's a piston gone. You still get compression with 2Ts, even though it's a tiny little lip at the top. Then you take the head off and you find it's this way. But what does it mean when someone says running in? Yeah, there's no real thing as running in on a bike anymore. You put this piston in, you do 10-20 miles, not full whack. You don't need this 500 miles that some people say. And it's a bit of a luck of the draw whether it's going to fix or not. How do I say that, or why do I say that? Depending on what the person done. A lot of people, piston goes, they slap a new piston in, whack the top on, away they go down the street. They didn't fix the problem, okay? And the problem could have been, or not investigated it, that there's no oil. The oil pump's gone. The fact they left a little bit underneath and it goes back on top and blows the piston again. They haven't fitted it down right, they haven't seated it right. So running in is always a bit worrying. It's up to you. If you know a little bit about bikes, then yeah, buy a running in bike and then do as the person says, or listen to how much they've had it in. I've had bikes here that I've ran for a couple of hours and you get your 50 mile out of them. Pistons, don't buy the cheap Chinese one with little writing on. They're out there. Get a reasonably quality. Don't go a £50 one, but not the £10 cheap crappy one. They won't last. But that's what running in means. A new head, new piston means they've changed all the top end of it. And again, you have to trust the seller now to know whether he did or did not fix the original problem or why it went. Okay? If you run out of oil, you're nice and know, isn't it? 2T, 4T. Right. I do get asked this a lot as well. 4T is what we used to call 4-stroke, and that is where the engine oil goes around the engine and the piston has just petrol going into it, and that's it. Okay, on 125s and other bikes later you get 50ccs, you regularly still have to check the oil on the smaller bikes. Not so much big bikes, but smaller bikes still burn a little bit of 4T. It's got overhead cam on it normally, and the piston little tappets on top, and they just let a little round the seat. So regularly check your oil, otherwise you're going to seize the bike. 2T, 2-stroke, and it is about the piston bore going up and down, but I'm not going to get too technical. But use a good quality oil. I did a video on that, guys, about this rubbishy stuff here, car plan. Don't use it. Use a good quality 2T oil. And I said in the video, you know the difference when you look at one, start it. If it goes, you know it's a 2T. 4T's generally got a much deeper sound to them. And the odds are either way. 4T's are quite a bit deeper, less maintenance, but sort of the piston doesn't go in them so much. It's other little bits that go wrong with them, and that's all to do with servicing and not doing the valves. It gets a bit complicated, but there's a distinct difference between 4T and 2T. Don't ever put 4T in a 2T engine. It will just freeze it all up and jam it all up. So if you're buying a bike, ask the seller, look on Google, find out before you start adding the oils, and don't use a cheap rubbishy oil. It's just, you know, you just put in what you are. Right, last one was WD-40, which I love, and the carburetor cleaner. So I want to say big up to Sam Mack, who came round yesterday. I've given that old junker. But again, I've said this before, a junker's never really a junker, is it? The carburetor on it, levers, brakes, pads, tyres. For me, just I want him to get rid of it. So I'll give him it, and hopefully he can make something out of that. Whether you use it for spares or whether he actually builds it back up again. It's up to him really. But there was a question he asked about WD-40 and carburetor cleaner. Okay, they're not the same thing. WD-40 everywhere on the outside of the bike except the variator, and do not spray this in your carburetor. WD, water displacement, 40. It took them 40 times to get it right. It's great stuff, does everything else but not clean carbs. Carburetor cleaner, I've done this before. Outside, it does the inside as well. I use a quality one for the inside normally. Difference is this evaporates away, really does clean your carburetor really well. Jets, take it apart, don't just do a cheap job of it. If you're going to take it apart to get it running, always remember to do a good quality job of it in the first place. Otherwise you can take it again. Well, there you go, guys. Sam, thanks for coming around the other day. Big up to your mum and family. Like you lots. Dervman, thanks a lot for wearing the t-shirt and doing the video. That was brilliant. Maybe run a competition next year again. Hope that's been helpful, guys. At least a little bit of insight of what the basics are. No bike in here, hence I'm doing this one. I'm waiting for a bike, and realistically I've got my clothes on. Well, I always have my clothes on. Well, not all the videos, but obviously I've got reasonable clothes on. I'm waiting for the wife to finish the Sunday roast even. Guys, like, subscribe, look at the outside ones. There's the oil one on here, a couple little bits and bob ones. Like and subscribe, guys. Keep making them. Cheers.